I'm horrible at starting these kinds of things, but
We'll figure it out
especially
as we
because I don't
go.
really. Yeah, we'll figure it out as it goes along. So, okay, I'm GregCubed, although you probably know that if you're watching this. You're on my second channel. Ninja, do you want to introduce yourself?
I'm Ninja Store Compass. I'm kind of just exist in this void of the EE podcast community where I don't really upload, but I'm usually in Arteel's videos. Yeah,
Ninja doesn't make content more than once a year, but it's okay. We
yeah.
forgive him.
I do tend to hang around the Monkey Ball videos, so you'll probably see me every now and then. Yeah.
I haven't done a monkey ball video since literally my 1 year anniversary video.
I
That
did
was the last time I think I covered this franchise.
I did like one main series of you, and then everybody else did it, so I was like, okay, I'm good. And then now I'm like, well, I have to do it. Like I have all. Why would I not do it? And I have opinions. Like I'm gonna start with like actual.
You have opinions?
What?
Oh my god! Why do I have you on this thing?
But yeah, I'm gonna start the original arcade game just for the sake of because no one else is doing
Oh
it.
yeah.
It's a more of a challenge because that means I have to talk about Monkey Ball 1 without with extra context. All right, so
Enough talking about good monkey ball games.
yeah.
Oh Jesus Christ! We have to actually get into talking about Banana Mania.
Yep, it's a game that released, and that's
It certainly is. It's. I mean, I think it's a game. I mean.
some people describe it as extended torture, but it depends on who you ask. So.
All right, but maybe not that harsh. But it's hard to like. It's hard to like critique this game because like at the end of the day, it is Monkey Ball 1 and 2. So it's like.
Yeah.
Like I know Jeff always says like, oh, like, it's a good game still. And it's like, yeah, it's a good game because it's built on the back of two good games. But like everything it does, I think it does worse than the originals,
Yeah.
in my opinion, and yours as well, I think.
I think there's some things I'm okay with as far as like a remake goes. Like I think the graphics are still perfectly good. Like a lot of them, pretty much all the levels are basically just like directly ripped from the original and new textures. But like compared to like Banana Blitz and stuff, I feel like it still keeps the energy of the original games, even if some levels I don't think look quite as good. Like I think the Monkey Ball 1 levels had better treatment generally.
I feel like that way in general with the whole game, like the soundtrack, like the Monkey Ball 1 remade soundtrack is better than what they remade for 2
Yeah.
as well. And like, yeah, it just feels like more like, I guess, effort was put into the Monkey Ball 1 portion. Like, I don't know what happened to the rest of the game.
I do enjoy the soundtrack generally. Like some levels, obviously, like Clock Tower, just like don't even kind of match the original vibe at all. But
Yeah, Clock Tower was one I think that really threw me off when I played it.
yeah, like because a lot of the new ones, like the whale one is fine. I like that one. The washing machine's fine. I don't know if it necessarily fits, but I think it's good on its own right. So whatever. Like I feel like a lot of soundtrack is still fine. There's just like a couple ones that like are a bit odd. You're like, okay.
Yeah, I think like Jungle Island and Monkey Ball 2, I think
I really don't like that one. Like the only time,
yeah.
and I've always hated that one. The only time I ever heard it sound good was when someone like moved it into the touch and roll sound font. I'm like, oh, it makes way more sense there.
I feel like that's kind of like how they were composed in general. Like it kind of feels like not Banana Mania, fuck, that's what we're talking about. Banana Blitz. So many goddamn banana games.
Yep.
Banana Blitz soundtrack, but like in a more of like a dubstep sound, I guess. I don't know. A lot of like the soundtrack reminds me of like it sounds like Zed instrumentals.
I like the new soundtrack. I think it's good if you see it as like its own thing. Like this is like Banana Mania is a separate Monkey Ball product than the originals. I think it's good in that context because whenever I turn on like the old soundtrack, which is a nice paid DLC, but whatever, we're not gonna get into that right now.
We'll get to that later.
But I think using the original soundtrack just sounds a bit off. Like, I don't think it's necessarily the game's fault. It's just kind of like, I don't know. I'm just so used to the new soundtrack with like the new visuals and gameplay that I think it works better.
I get that.
I think it works better in that context than it does like, if than it would otherwise. Like I don't think it's as good as like a remade soundtrack. I think it's good as like this is Banana Mania's soundtrack.
At the same time, it's like I feel like it lacks the personality the originals had, and maybe that's just like nostalgia bias. I don't know, but like I feel like in general it kind of lacks identity because like a lot of it, like you said, is like brand new, but then some of the tracks are like straight up remixes of like just like almost like one-to-one remixes of like the original.
Yeah.
And then some tracks just are taken from the original. Like if you play story mode, all of the cutscene, we'll get to that.
Yep.
Music is all ripped straight from the original games. I've noticed like in I think party games, like when you get to the results screen, or one of the sound cues is straight from the original game as well. So it just like kind of clashes. It just kind of feels like, I don't know. It's like, oh, we ran out of time to compose something for this. Just fuck it. Just take it from the original, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I like the remixes a lot. Some of them are like even like the weirder ones, like I actually like the Boiling Pot remix. Like I like the weird like dubstep like bad
Yeah.
bass remix. I think that one's actually debatably better than the original song. But
Maybe not better, but
yeah,
I will
know,
say
but,
the Bad
yeah.
Boon remix is one of my favorites in the game. I noticed.
Like I feel like a lot of remixes at least do something different enough where it's like, oh, that's cool, you know. And
yeah, for sure.
like obviously the Monkey Ball 1 Water remix is just like great. That's a good remix. That's why I use it for my outro music.
I was about to say
song.
that use that as a bad remix example, but
I actually like that one. I think it's fine. I mean, it's one more chill,
like,
obviously, which is
that's the kind of the thing. Like it is fine. I mean, like I don't
Yeah.
think any of the music for the game, even like the Jungle Island music, is like technically bad, but it's just like
the Jungle Island music is kind of
okay,
bad.
it is, but like that's kind of like I don't know. I feel like most people are probably fine with it or whatever, but it just like you said, it kind of lacks the energy of the original. Like the original Monkey Ball 1 Ocean theme is like well, really kind of like a lot of like the original arcade games themes are just like really upbeat kind of like Y2K house music, you know, jungle electronic kind of thing. And then like with the I don't know, the Ocean remix specifically, it's just too chill. Like it just kind of like sucks all the, it's like the same melody but just sucks all the energy out of it. I don't know. And I felt that way about the Inside of a Whale song too.
Yeah.
Like
That
one wasn't a straight remix either, but it's just like too bouncy and chill. And like the original's like really like you're inside a fucking whale and you got to get out, you know?
Yeah. A lot of it just comes down to the fact that Banana Media's entire vibe is different from the originals, which is, you know, not really a good thing, but it's more so why the soundtrack sounds different too. Just kind of reflect that, like, you know.
And we can start getting into that too. Is like, it's not just the soundtrack. It's like everything, like the art style, the UI, the graphics, and everything is very different. To be positive, like you said earlier, I do think the graphics in the game are like pretty good.
Yeah.
I do think there's some levels or whatever that are like, I mean, I've mentioned this before, like the ocean world in Monkey Ball 2 has like that big cute fish coming out of the wall and it's not there in the remake. And there's like other things like that are just kind of missing, and it's like, you know, you got the right idea. You're almost there, but you're just kind of missing some key aspects.
Yeah.
But the graphics are like mostly fine. It's just when we start getting into the UI, I really have problems.
Like with the graphics, like I mentioned earlier that they basically just like took the exact models and added textures to it. I think that works better for the Monkey Ball 1 worlds since they are more simplistic, so it's not quite as noticeable.
Mm-hmm.
Although,
for
like,
sure.
like if you look closely on some of the worlds, you're like, oh, that's an interesting texture in the background. But like for the most part, I think it's fine. Really, the main issue is when it comes down to like Master and Monkey Ball 1 just looks like trash now for like no reason whatsoever.
Yeah, that was one they kind of butchered.
And I think the Monkey Ball 2 levels are like really noticeable sometimes. Like,
yeah.
like Boiling Pot, you can see like the logs in the background are literally just like hexagons. It's like, okay, it's a bit.
And it's kind of early what we're saying too. Like it feels like Monkey Ball 2 side of the game, they kind of just ran out of time. Maybe I don't know, but like you said, like one just looks and sounds better. Two is like you can really notice kind of the
really
shortcomings. I don't know.
like I remember someone was telling me like, oh, I like the new one for Washing Machine and Monkey Ball 2. It looks better. And I'm like, no, like because like the only thing I like more about it is the fact that the T-shirt has like the old Maya design there, just kind of like slapped on. I think that was funny.
Yeah.
The actual wood itself, I feel like looked kind of like, I don't know, it looked more like cluttered. It just looked less finished.
Yeah.
Like I feel
I definitely agree with that too.
I can barely even notice the fact that there's a washing machine under me because I don't remember if they kept the bubble effect or not, like the little bubbles that come up or not.
I don't know either, and I just fucking played it, so I guess that goes to
remember.
show. But
It was a lot more noticeable in Deluxe, to be fair. So I'm not really sure if that's necessarily the game's fault, but still.
I don't know if any of the worlds necessarily look better. I'd say most of them look like on par with the original, and there's like a few that look slightly worse.
The only one I
but
can
like
think
it's also.
Of... Oh, sorry.
It's just kind of sad that it's like the only like big positive I can say is that the graphics are like good, I guess.
The main one I think looks better is the water from Monkey Ball 1, but I think that's just because it has like more of like a water effect over the screen more so than it.
That's interesting because I was gonna say that's one of the few I think looked definitely worse because like it takes a lot of the detail out. I don't know, like the original is very detailed and it's just like is that 1 or 2 on your background right now?
That is.
It's 2, isn't it?
Manga 2 is definitely the worst. But
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. But yeah, they just went. I don't know. They went too hard on the water effect. So yeah, it just kind of looked a little too washed out in my opinion. But
Actually,
also, I'm playing on Switch, so what do I fucking know? I
yeah, it's all more
guess.
noticeable in the other consoles. I think one thing I will definitively say is better is I like the return of shiny floors. Now, some people could argue that makes the game harder to play on some levels, but I don't know. I felt like I like it.
Dude,
I think it looks cool. I don't know. I like the shiny floors.
that's weird because I noticed there was no shiny floors when I was playing, or at least like significantly less. So maybe
Yeah,
it's like a Switch thing.
on there generally there's less of them, but on the Switch they're definitely a lot more muted. Like in the Sega logo level in the desert on the other consoles, it's like barely there, so you can run Switch like you can't even tell it's there.
Yeah,
But
on Switch it just looks like a flat like color.
it's really only there in like the bonus levels and what I'm looking for one bonus levels and Storm. It's really apparent in Storm.
Yeah.
And like there's some worlds like I think of that has it. Like mainly Monkey Ball 1 worlds obviously because Monkey Ball 1, but I don't know. I like it. It's a cool visual effect. It's kind of dumb, but I don't know. I think it looks cute. But it reminded me also of the worst looking thing probably in the entire game. You know how in Monkey Ball, right? How Monkey Ball, how I had like the shiny like would fight the floors on tracks, whatever, like Expert 9.
Yeah.
And they're like purple and yellow. They tried to add as much contrast as they could. So
As soon as you start talking about shiny floors, it's immediately what I thought
yeah,
of
might have
was
been
that
like,
level.
yeah, they fixed the issue. It just looks like which looks goofy
Look
now.
shit now.
Like okay,
I don't know. I feel like on Master Mode it's very noticeable as well.
yeah.
I think in the original, like, I mean, I guess on the original all the floors were shiny, but I feel like I really noticed it in Master Mode, and then
Yeah.
it's just completely gone in Banana Mania, at least on Switch. So,
Yeah, I can't remember because I played it like yesterday, so I already can't remember.
but yeah, that's Banana Mania in a nutshell. I played it yesterday, but I don't fucking remember anything about it. So, another aesthetical thing I thought of, and this is like I don't really know if they changed this or not, but I didn't notice like did they Monkey Ball 1 and 2, like in every world, the goalpost has like a unique like look to it. Did they keep that in Banana Mania? Because I feel like I didn't notice it.
I don't think
and
they
I was
did,
kind of
no.
trying to look out for it. Yeah, I didn't think so either.
Yeah.
That's like a big shame too, because like again, like Rip Goth Post, right? In Storm.
Yeah,
and
it's an odd change. I think it's just one of those things where the game was, developed in a very short
about to say,
time.
I don't think it's an odd change. I think it's we ran out of money change. We ran out of time and budget.
Yeah.
That's kind of Banana Mania like in a nutshell, really.
Yeah, it's like they had good concepts. They just couldn't finish the game because of like everything around the game's development.
Also, the good concepts were from a game that already existed for 20 years, so
Yeah.
that kind of gets them going. Yeah.
What's next on the topic list? I guess.
I guess we could start talking about the actual gameplay.
This is a complicated
Oh,
thing
Jesus
to talk about.
Christ.
How do we even talk about this?
I don't know. That's like there's just so many like moving parts to
Do
it.
we talk about the actual
This is something like
gameplay
I'm struggling.
or, like the structure itself? Because we can go into both.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out how to put that, how to structure that when I write the video because like there's just so many moving parts because like everything affects each other. There's like the physics. There's like the gameplay. The gameplay loop. Fuck. The gameplay loop is just fucking broken. We can start there. It's just completely broken.
We could start with story mode if you want.
Let's start with story mode. Okay, we can talk about the controls and physics and whatnot.
Because story mode is like the biggest elephant in the room that's like indefensible even if people like the game.
Dude, I don't know what fucking happened. I mean, I do, but like, why even like bother with it if you're not gonna give a shit? I don't know.
The reaction to story mode is basically just, it's like there's like a deep sigh of like why, why?
I beat the entire story mode in 2 days, but like it wasn't an extensive playing. Like I got through worlds 1 through 6, I think in about like 45 minutes, just straight through, and then like I kind of took a little bit longer with the rest, like throughout the next day. But talk about like the most underwhelming experience of the fucking century, dude. Like
yeah,
like I already had like no expectations. I was like, this is gonna be fucking stupid. But yeah, I thought that, like the cutscenes at least went on for like 30 seconds or something. Like they last at most like 10 seconds, and it's just like the characters, the PNG squares of the characters pop up on screen. Symbol pops up that like if you haven't played the original game, you don't know what the fuck's going on.
It's like there's like the scene of
And
like
then
the
it's just
shrink
like
ray. Like the shrink ray scene. Like you can't even
that
tell what's
made-
happening. Like it's just
None of them. Even like the I love the scene where they get eaten by the whale because it's like so I can see them trying so hard to convey it and it doesn't fucking work at all. It's so fucking bad, dude. And it's like so weirdly structured too because it's like you finish a world and then it plays like a 10-second cutscene, then it cuts to black, cuts back, starts like a new chapter, then plays another 10-second cutscene, and then continues. It's like, why don't you just like start it like when I beat the world? It'd be like next episode, quote unquote, or whatever. Like, I don't know. I have so many problems with it, but it's just so fucking stupid.
The story mode's interesting because like the more you've played too, I feel like the more things you can point out. Like let's think about it from like let's just like two story mode, right? Pretty basic, right? You enter a world, you get a funny, goofy cutscene, loosely pertaining to whatever heck the next area is, then you play it, right? But like even the fact that like even like the whole like the entire point of story mode, right, was that it's supposed to be like, oh, you have 10 levels, you can do them in any order you want. You know, and then, you know, beat them all eventually, and then you move on. Like, they didn't even do that. It's structured like a Banana Blitz, like, story mode world.
That's the next thing I was going to bring up, too, was, like, yeah, like you said, it's so linear, and I feel like that takes a lot of, like, the charm out of it, because, like, I don't know about you, but, like, when I grew up playing Super Monkey Ball 2, like, you know, there was certain levels in every world you'd get stuck on, and you'd just be like, ah, fuck it, I'll just move on to like try a different one for a little bit, like while I, you know, build my skills up and kind of think about that one, and I'll come back to that later. On Banana Mania, you're just fucked. Like if you get stuck at a level, like you just can't do anything.
Yeah, like even how it is right now, if they still let you like pick levels in that kind of same order, I feel like at least be a different mode. But the fact that it's still linear, it's basically just challenge mode. With like a bad cutscene in between. Yeah, like, there's so many things to say. I don't even know like how to structure my opinions. I could literally go into like a whole list right now of everything wrong with it.
Dude, no, that's the problem I'm having too. Is there's just like so, like I said, so many fucking moving parts, and they all work against each other.
But like I don't know.
But yeah, it's just like.
So it's like.
In the original story mode, you know, it's like it's so charming. Like you have like this like triangular 8-ball setup, right? You know, and then. Every level, like, you know, II is like the icon. He's like doing these goofy dances for every single one. You move him around the board, and like every time you select a level, like, you know, on the side of the screen, the ball opens up and reveals a preview of the level you're about to play, and it's like spinning around, and everything's moving, and the fonts are like big and in your face and fun. And then you get to Banana Mania, and it's like this again, just comparing story mode, it's just a list of like fucking boxes. Do you remember like in the original Monkey Balls, like the UI were actual balls? You know what I mean? Like we take that for granted, but that's actually clever. On like this, where it's just like all squares. It's like it's so antithetical. I don't know. It kind of upsets me.
The thing about it is like even if like every single time you beat a level of Banana Mania, it led you to like a list of levels or something. Like even if it like did that would still be something. You know, like oh here's a list of 10 levels and like we'll show you on the side. But it didn't even do that. Like,
yeah, no.
It didn't even do, like the, like even if it was like the bare minimum, it still would have been kind of neat. You know, to have like the same kind of structure. The fact that they completely removed it at all for some unknown reason that no one will ever understand is what makes it so ridiculous. It's like they went out of their way to remove every story mode part of story mode in the entire game to the point where the mode.
Yeah, it's like why bother at that point?
So it's like if you're not gonna have the cutscenes, why make it like a weird PNG cutscene? Like if you're not even gonna have the structure of the mode, why even include it? Like
why have the mode? Like, especially because, and this we can segue into, I'm sure what's on the rest of our minds is that it completely. There is no difference between story mode and challenge mode because they got rid of lives, and we can start getting into that next. But
yeah, because
it's just like the only difference is that in story mode you get to see a story. There's no fucking story, so what's the goddamn point? Like it's just a waste of time.
Yeah, like even in Monkey Ball 2, at its most bare minimum like level, story mode was literally supposed to just be like a tutorial section of the game. It was like, oh, you can do it all without lives, so you can get good at specific concepts in the game, like, you know, skinny platforms or like, you know, maze levels or
that was a really smart
thing. You could get used to all the factors of the game all at once.
Yeah. Like Monkey Ball 1, right? It was like, okay, we have an arcade game, we're just gonna, you know, touch it up, add some party games and port it to console. Monkey Ball 2 was like, we gotta make this for straight up for console, so how can we kind of adapt that? So they have this whole ecosystem where it's like you start off, you do story mode because you have unlimited lives. And, you know, there's like a half hour's worth of goofy cutscenes that are really charming, so it keeps you kind of going along. And, you know, if you get stuck on a level, there's 9 others you can choose from, etc. And then once you've beaten that and you want to keep playing, then you go on to challenge mode, which is what the core of the game actually is. But here, like, there's no lives, so story mode and challenge mode are just the same fucking thing. Like, I know, like, challenge mode is where you get the Monkey Ball 1 levels, so, like, whatever. But, like, there's no reason to play the Monkey Ball 2 challenge mode. Like, there's just not. And the
You
story
mean
mode, there's no reason to play that either. I don't know. It's just
really the only reason the story mode exists anymore is because there's like a couple exclusive levels, and I think that's basically it at this point. And even then, they're not usually the good exclusive levels. They're usually the ones that are like, yeah, they add that to story mode because it's kind of like outside of it. I think Invisible might be the only one I can think of that's actually kind of cool.
yeah, it's like it's just World 10. That's the only exclusive, and it's like there's yeah, I can't even remember any of them. They're all just like kind of
there's
like Kaizo
Labyrinth,
mazes.
yeah. It's all like the random maze levels in World 10. You got 3D maze. You got like that one that's just like tilts once. And it's like the easiest stage ever.
God, yeah, you have like that warm up training level or whatever. Like, there, yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I wouldn't say like, oh, I wish they would have just not included them, but there had to have been a better way. I don't know.
Yeah, like they could have.
Or at least just make a story mode, you know.
They could have added ultimate mode from deluxe and then put them all in there, but they didn't do that either.
That's another thing missing from the game. Why didn't we have fucking ultimate mode?
We can get to that later.
We'll get to that in a little bit, but God, there's so much to fucking get into. God damn.
Well, another thing about Monkey Ball 2 also is the fact that even after the story mode was done, you could still like unlock lives if you know when you progress. There was still a sense of progression even after the story mode was over because you know it's like, oh, I can keep playing for more lives in order to get further in the challenge mode because you know expert is pretty dang hard in Monkey Ball 2. So
yeah, and like, oh my God. Okay, so we can, I guess we can like use that to segue into challenge mode in general. Like, so like the lack of lives already is like a huge like big deal breaker in my opinion. Like that's kind of the whole crux of challenge mode. But getting rid of the score system too is just so fucked because like when you're playing. Okay, like I was marathoning Monkey Ball 1 like a few weeks ago. And you know, I was like grinding expert mode. I actually got all the way to my record right now is Master 9. I can't beat that shit, dude. It's fucking hard. I kind of gave up there, but you know, I really try to take notice of like the gameplay loop because it's like you know, you're not just focused on getting to the end of each level and then just going to the next one, you know. You're like how many lives do I have left? I need to like, you know, take this harder route here and get these like all these banana bunches so I can try and like, you know, get some extra lives going so I can build up, you know, an artillery so I can actually get to master mode. And then, you know, on top of that, there's also like this, you know, every time you finish, you get taken to the scoreboard and you put your initials in and everything. So like even if like you don't care that much about score, like there's still like an incentive there, like, oh, I hope like even if you don't understand how the score system works, you're still like, I hope I got, you know, I beat my record and got first place. But like there's multiple sort of like intersecting gameplay loops going on, I guess, because like especially with like the bananas, like it's like yeah, they are play points, but then it's also what you need to try and collect to get extra lives, and it's also what you need to collect to get you know, your because they, you know, there's score points too. In Banana Mania, they're fucking worthless. Like they're, you know, use them for the unlock stuff in the shop, but you unlock everything in the shop in the first like couple days you have the game, and then they're completely 100% useless. Like there's not a use for them.
Yeah, that's true. Like the thing about it is that like I don't care about score, right? But like you still want to collect the bananas in the original games for the lives and all that, like you said.
Yeah, at least for lives.
And like even if you remove all that, which is dumb, you know, you get the point, right? But like they could have still required you to get more play points and unlock stuff. Like I feel like even the play point requirements are way too low. Like really the only incentive you have left to get bananas at that point is the fact that you have like a little banana counter. Like, oh, you get this out of this many on the stage, but it's like you don't get anything for doing that. There's no like medal for getting a lot of bananas. Like, so it's just like
there's maybe like an Xbox achievement. I mean, like, I don't know, but
like who cares? Because like
nobody.
There's no point. Like there's no medal. There's no like anything. You don't get anything for doing it. Like maybe there's an in-game achievement for getting all the bananas on X level, but it's like somebody cares about it, but like not me. I don't know.
It's just so sad because again in the original there was like 3 different uses in one. And even like once you've unlocked everything in the game, there's still 2 like very important uses for them in the levels.
Yeah, like even 2 arguably had more unlockables. Like you had like the cutscenes, the lives, like the credits begin. Like yeah, you had like the fact
and all of the second row of mini games too.
Yeah, like they had all of that. And then Banana Mania just gives you like half the game for free, so it's not like that matters. Like I try to think of what else. There's something I was thinking of.
It's just customization and like maybe like a mode or something. I don't fucking know.
I was thinking of something. I can't remember what it was right now. But there's something.
I know for a fact. In the first week I had the game, I unlocked everything, and I know that's not a uncommon situation.
Pretty much everybody did that. It's like, well, I beat the game in a week. Like, okay, what's the point to keep playing?
Yeah, so the bananas go from having 3 uses to having 1 use for the first week you have it, and then no use.
I mean, I guess there is the leaderboards, but I feel like with every issues we'll
But
talk about later. It kind of doesn't really matter anyway. So
what do the bananas matter for leaderboards? Like, what even leaderboards?
what they have like I think it's all time based on the leaderboards. Oh, it's
Yeah, I know.
outside
I
of
know.
the
There's like
party
the
games,
speedrun leaderboards. Oh, for party games.
which
We'll get to that too.
I guess we
A
should probably
billion
go
things to get
over
to.
on a. And even if all of this was removed, the gameplay is still good, right, Greg?
No. So surprise, the gameplay is fucking shit.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's completely
Okay,
like.
it's
I don't think it's like. What am I? Okay. Anyway, I don't think it's like beyond saving or anything. Like when I played it, there were moments where I had fun, right?
yeah, no, for sure.
But like going back into like the gameplay loop issues, like I'd be having fun and I'd die, I'd be like, oh no, I died. Then like a second later, I'd be like, wait. Why do I care? Why do I care? I was playing it for footage, right? And I was like collecting like bananas and stuff. I was playing a game like I would normally play a Monkey Ball game, and then I realized like, why am I doing all this? And there's no point. There's no point to get lives. There's no point to grab bananas. There's no point to even care if you die. Just keep playing the game over and over again because there's no.
And that's like, yeah, that's the thing. Is like there's so many things that are broken from like the lack like the lack of lives and score. So like the bonus rooms, for instance, like especially in Monkey Ball 1. There's no point in doing them at all.
Like, there's no point in doing any bonus room because there's no score. There's no like
there's no
like leaderboard points. So you can't even do it for that. There's no anything. Like you literally just enter and you're like, and you just leave.
Kill myself.
I guess.
Yeah,
like literally you just leave because there's no point. Like there's no observable reason to care about them.
It's the same with like there's all of the levels that have like a harder path, especially in Monkey Ball 2. I feel like there's a ton of levels that like there's an easy path and there's a hard path with like a ton of like banana bunches on it. And like in the original, like I was grinding Super Monkey Ball 2 a few months ago, and I was trying to beat Expert through Master Run with just like the default lives. So yeah, like it's like there was instances where I had to like take the really hard paths on those levels, even though I didn't want to, because it was like fuck, like I've died a couple times. I've got one life left. I might as well just go for it and try and like get my lives back up. No reason in Banana Mania because there's no point in playing it. Like it's just like you brute force your way to the end of each level. You get to the end, you're like, well, how was that?
It's kind of like with the warp goals. Like they exist, but they're really just there because like they exist
because they were there in the original.
I guess those are really only there for like the leaderboards because they're more time based. But like I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they're pointless in the main game because it's like, first of all, you have unlimited lives, so there's not like. I don't know, it's not that urgent. There's no score, so like there's no reason to do it for that reason. Because do you know how score works in the original games? I know you don't really care about it.
I know it's like time, completion bonus, and like something else probably. But
it's like, okay, it's like every millisecond is a point on the clock basically. So like every millisecond that passes, you're losing a potential point. If you finish within the first half of the timer, you get a ×2 bonus. You get a green goal, you get an additional ×2 bonus. And if you get the red goal, you get an additional ×3 bonus. So, it's really satisfying, I think, when you're playing through Expert and you're like, you get a red goal and it's like ×2, ×3, and you get this fucking gigantic score number. And you're like, God, I feel like a fucking could do anything.
Yeah.
And Banana Mania, you just cross it and you're like, oh, that was like
I skipped like
no
5
more
stages.
satisfying than
cool, I guess.
Yeah.
I have to play the game less.
Like,
let's go.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And it's like you don't even if like you're stuck, there's still no reason to like go for it because you can just use the beat the level button they threw
What
in.
do you mean? If you do that, you can't play the extra stages.
Oh yeah, that's another thing. Is like the extra stages, like you can just brute force your way to them. That's so stupid.
Yeah, like if I'm rewarding getting to an extra stage in Monkey Ball, it's like, wow, I actually did that. Let's go.
Yeah, like unlocking Master Mode in Monkey Ball 1 is like the most hype shit.
Yeah.
Even if like no one else cares about it, because it's just like, let's fucking go! I did it! Months of work.
Yeah.
Here it's just like the only thing stopping you from getting to Master Mode is getting bored and turning the console off. Like I don't know. It's just really stupid.
Should we continue talking about challenge mode? We could start getting to like all the accessibility options and how they kind of like integrate them in a way that's kind of annoying.
We can just keep going with. We can do that. And keep talking about challenge mode too. Because I mean, it kind of I don't really have anything else to say specifically about challenge mode. Really,
I guess I could say the one good thing they added, which was the marathon modes. I think those were a good addition.
Yeah. Wait. Is that like? Oh yeah. It's like beginner, advanced, expert.
It's
for
all
each
on my
game.
ones.
Yeah.
I think that's cool. The fact
I
that
think it's cool too, but it just kind of highlights like they should have had ultimate mode.
there's two main issues with it. One, the fact that deluxe levels are just like in a separate mode. That's dumb.
Yeah, it's
And then two,
very
and then the
dumb.
fact that they didn't include ultimate mode, like why even have the marathon modes, which are clearly in the same kind of vein, but then not include like the one that everybody knows, like the
Yeah.
masochistic mode. I want to play that mode, but I can't.
Me too, man. Because like you said, like I would rather play the deluxe stages like scattered in than just play them all straight back to
Yeah,
back.
play them all. It's like, wow, these really weren't that great after all,
Yeah.
But like they're
It's
in
like, oh,
ultimate.
why even include them?
At least if it's in ultimate, it feels more like an actual like gauntlet. It feels more of like an accomplishment to beat it.
Yeah, instead of just playing a bunch of like B levels, like I don't know, just kind of
Yeah.
it's just kind of pointless, really. I mean, unless you have like major deluxe nostalgia, I guess. I mean, I guess I'm glad they're there, but like they just don't feel integrated well, which is why I haven't played them. They're not that integrated. They're like shoved off another side.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess the furthest in there is a little point. One thing that really bothered me with the controls, specifically in the Monkey Ball 1 levels, is that when how in Monkey Ball 1 how you have like really good precision, so you can do like the little thin, skinny platforms very easily.
Yeah, actually, I was gonna say we didn't even talk about the controls yet. It's kind of fucked.
Should we do that now? I guess we can do that now.
Let's just do that. Now we can talk about accessibility too.
Okay, yeah, but with like in Monkey Ball 1, one thing that really annoyed me with the controls, like specifically at the control part, right, is the fact that usually, because in Monkey Ball 1 when you when you hit a direction, the joystick moves you in that direction, obvious stuff, right? But in Mania, if you do left and right, sometimes it will just turn you very slightly, which is really bad in Monkey Ball 1 levels. Like I was doing curvature earlier. I was like, okay, I just need to tilt the joystick a little bit more to not die. Just it's like great, thank you. What didn't move left and right at all, unless you turn down your camera sensitivity, which we should just get into that rabbit hole right now. The camera.
Hey God, yeah, go off about that.
So in Banana Mania, they added a separate controllable camera, which is a good idea, right? Sometimes you're in a situation in Monkey Ball where you need to turn on the camera. You don't want to like fiddle the joystick 20 times just to rotate your camera. But the problem is, the way they integrate it, the camera turning mechanic messes with your turning speed as a player. Like if you hit left and right to move left and right, the amount that you move is different depending on what your camera sensitivity setting is set to.
So bunk.
So like you might be saying, okay, just set it to 1. The problem is that when you set it to 1, your manual camera moves at like 1 mile per hour. It's literally useless. But you also you can't even do like the normal Monkey Ball 1 way of turning the camera either, because even that's affected. Like it's easier to move around with the 1 setting at the cost of like your camera turning being like 1 mile per hour.
So it's like the manual camera and the automatic camera are the exact same as what you're telling me.
But whatever affects it, yeah. Like the camera when you move is the same as the camera with the right stick. So if you just
I wonder if that was intentional or if it was just Sega being Sega.
I don't know why it would be intentional though, because it makes no sense. Like I
don't know.
I even boot up on purpose. I set the 5 and set the 1. Like when you 5, you just you literally have to choose. You have to find like a perfect balance of like, okay, how much control jank am I willing to deal with for the sake of actually having a camera that works?
Right. It's like that's the thing with like the added camera they did, because like yeah, I agree it was 100% like a good idea, but it's also like I think in the originals, like I know like if you're new to it, you might struggle with the camera. I'm at a point where like I can whip that baby around,
Most stages were also designed with it in mind. So a lot of stages are very linear.
Exactly.
You don't require a lot of like turning. If they do, it's only like 90-degree turns.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's like mostly responsive. It's like 2001 kind of jank, but like it's not necessarily worse than like I think any other game from around that time.
I was gonna say it's usually more of an issue in games like Touch Roll that are designed after the fact, where you have a couple levels where it's a bit odd. But like in the actual original 2 games, it's usually fine. Even in Adventure, there's a couple levels where it's bad. Don't get me wrong, but like.
The whole game is bad, but
there are a couple of those I can think of it's very bad, but usually it's like okay, it's you can usually somewhat manage. Usually it's just the level being bad more than the camera being bad,
Exactly. Yeah. Like I think it was a good idea to add in a second camera, but it's like
Splits
it's so slow. Like it just doesn't feel good to use. And then like the automatic camera is like fucked. It's like worse than the original.
Yes, the problem's that they like because I don't know how they managed it, but they somehow managed to like ruin the entire camera system for no reason.
Yeah.
like I like the idea. It's good on paper. I think a game like Splits did it better, where it's like it's only when you're standing still, which even then you don't even need that restriction at all. But still, like having it is a good thing. I just think the way they implemented it was so like literally just made it worse for no.
Yeah, like it's like instead of it like improving it, it just feels like an extra. It feels like a handicap they added in to make it like usable.
Yeah,
Like, oh, we fucked up the camera system. Now we have to add this in to make it usable instead of it just being like
yeah.
better.
In the words of another YouTuber I watched, they fixed the problem by causing another problem. So it's like
Yup.
you didn't really fix
It
anything.
just cancels each other out.
Like the camera is still bad. You just made it where instead of having to like move the analog stick, you just have to like hold the right stick for 1 second. Like you didn't fix anything. In fact,
Yeah,
I
if
think
anything,
I think it's more awkward because now you have to like actually like fiddle with settings to get to like perfectly tuned.
The whole control system is just way more awkward in general. Because, like, I mean, I didn't know this until you told me, like, last week, but there's no diagonal movement, which is just really fucked up.
There is diagonal movement, but it's muted because the game uses a circle dead zone. Because in the original games used a square dead zone, which basically meant, you know, when you're at the corners, you have more of an input because, you know, it's a square, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Which was very much an intentional design decision, in my opinion, because you don't. It's something you don't really think. Like you think about it, like, oh, it's not that important. But when you get to a level that has like a very heavy slope usage, it's way more obvious. Like warp.
Oh yeah.
Is borderline unplayable now because of it.
It's fucked. Yeah.
Like it's not.
Same with invasion. That level is so hard, dude.
Like it. It's one of those. I think invasion's actually harder due to a different issue I'll talk about after. But
Yeah, go ahead.
But the thing about diagonals is that. Like, I had a discussion with somebody where they were talking about, like, oh, it's just, like, speedrunner thing. Like, it's not. It's an integral part of the game. Like, the reason...
you notice it immediately.
Like, the reason why they have these weird, like, sloped levels is because you're intended to be able to, you know, fight against the slope, which is what the diagonals are for. Because you can still do it in Banana Mania. The problem is you have to do a hard right angle on your joystick instead of a diagonal, which is the natural input you would do. You know, when you're holding up, you move into a diagonal to do it instead. But no, you hit stop and then press completely right, which is incredibly awkward. Like
it's so bad.
Like I was trying to do the bonus stages on 2. You know, it's like the ones that just like a bowl of a bunch of bananas, but you barely even grab them because normally you just hold diagonal to go, you know, like to fall down slower.
Yeah, in the original, it's not hard at all to get the bananas.
But you can't do it now because you don't have diagonals, so you're just kind of screwed. Like I don't.
I noticed that on some of like the thin twisty paths too. Like Expert 7 in general is like fucked in Banana Mania. Like you have to like when you're going along that long twisty path, you have to be like you can't. In the original, you can literally just follow it with your joystick, but like in this, you have to be like awkwardly tilt left and right and like try not to fall off, and then like tilt the other cam. I don't. It's so many moving parts. It's so stupid.
I think that is due to what, in my opinion, is the worst control thing they did besides maybe the camera. That's pretty bad. But the one I think is the absolute like most aggravating to most players, like casual or not, is the fact that the game feels like you're like playing with a trackball at all times because you slide everywhere. It feels like you're playing on like a bar of soap more than a monkey ball. Like, it makes, like,
that was the first thing I noticed. Like I started when I got back into it. Like I booted up the first level of expert mode or whatever, Monkey Ball 1. And I start moving forward and like I get to the edge and I need to like stop. Actually, it was the second level. It's the one where it like diverges and there's like the thin path and like the slightly less thin path.
Too,
I roll up and I hold back to stop like I normally would, and I just keep going right off the stage. And I'm like, great, I fucking love this game.
The problem is, like, it's just like inertia is already one of the main challenges you face in a Monkey Ball game, just because you want to go fast, but you don't want to go too fast, so you gotta like know when to slow down. But they took that and made it like even worse of an issue.
So bad.
Like it's
the whole game. It's like Sonic Heroes, but Monkey Ball.
Yeah, I'll
let Jeff hear that.
And I think it's bizarre because like, there's so many moments where you just want to like The one that I always think of is whenever you need to line up like a skinny platform, like for example narrow peaks, right? You know, you have like the little triangles you gotta get over. If you want to do the hardest path in Dark Banana mode, you have to like you try to line up. It's like, okay, I'm gonna line up. You're just like the path is right here, but you keep going left and right across of it because you're trying to line it up. It's so bad. Like
don't you love how this game, all about precision, has like very imprecise controls all of a sudden?
In my opinion, I think the trackball nature is some kind of like weird like banana blitz thing because you gotta use motion controls. They're trying to like smooth it out to make it easier for that kind of control scheme.
Yeah, because they adapted the physics from that game, didn't they?
Yeah, from Banana Blitz HD. Yeah, they basically just ripped them directly into 2.
Oh, it makes me sick.
With no tweaks whatsoever, except for the camera being broken. That's what they tweaked.
Banana blitzification of 1 and 2. It's so sad.
I don't know. Like I think it works within Banana Blitz's own engine, but the problem is when you try to combine that into 2, imagine trying to control curvature in Monkey Ball 1, where you slide everywhere, you will turn instead of moving left and right when you try to do skinny platforms. Like
I don't have to imagine it. That's Banana
and
Mania.
there's a messed up dead zone, so it's just like everything that could possibly go wrong with precision-based gameplay in a precision-based remake. It's like
it's wrong.
like like you can get used to it, which is like the most obvious argument, but it's like I shouldn't even need to do that. The original Monkey Ball games were about the pick up and play, like, oh, I can pick up my GameCube controller and get good at it like today, but like I always have to readjust whenever I go back and forth. Like I adjusted the Banana Mania, I guarantee you I'm gonna go play 2. It's gonna be like an out of body experience. I'm like, what happened?
It's funny, I'm planning on doing the same thing after this, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's like I don't know if I'm like biased because like I've played the originals for like 20 years and like I've played Banana Mania for like 1, and that's being generous because it's more like I played it for like 2 weeks of my life. But yeah, it's just like I know when I go back to the originals, it's going to feel immediately better. Because I'm gonna be thrown off, but it's gonna feel better. You can get used to the Banana Mania controls, like you said. Like I do think, especially as I was playing it more, like towards the end, I was like, oh yeah, I mean, it feels kind of more natural, I guess. But it's like, it's still like I get this feeling like, I still feel like this is way less precise than the GameCube games. And as soon as I go back, I'm gonna be like, damn, I forgot how fucking good this game used to control.
I know.
Which is not something you want to say about a remake. I don't know.
I think it's good in spite of the controls, just because the rest of the game I think has good elements. Like the original stage design and all that. Like. But as far as the controls go, like everything I thought about too, like, oh, am I just like complaining for no reason? But it's like you go back and you play the original games, like it's very intentional the way that everything feels. So it's like
they feel better. Like they just feel better.
Like just because you can navigate the craziness that is Banana Mania gameplay doesn't mean it's like good though. Like I feel like I enjoy it in spite of like the weird control scheme. What's up to me being like, this is an okay way to control Monkey Ball. Like you can. But like the only thing
it's a I don't even want to say acceptable, but it's like a doable. You can do it.
Yeah,
you can get used to it, and it's like not like the game is broken.
You can still
like maybe a couple levels.
You can still be good at this version of Monkey Ball gameplay. It's just not like I don't think on its own is good though. Like, is it better than motion controls? Yes, but like anything's better than motion controls, so it doesn't mean anything. Like.
Yeah, it's like it's more of a testament to how bad Monkey Ball has been for the last like 20 years or however long it's been since. Fuck, it has been almost 20 years since Banana Blitz came out. It's kind of sad, but yeah, it's like it's an improvement, but it's not at the same time. So I'm not giving them credit for it. I don't know.
I still have fun with Banana Mania when I go back to it. I think it's just because Monkey Ball on its own is already fun as a core concept on its own.
Yeah, it's like I said at the beginning of all of this. It's like it's Monkey Ball 1 and 2, so of course there's like good elements, but I don't think anything but like all of the good elements are from Monkey Ball 1 and 2, not Banana Mania. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like there is good stuff in Banana Mania. I don't know when we want to move on to the side modes and all that, but like.
We can cover it now, I guess, because we can start talking about party games too.
Yeah, because
we'll start with the positives.
Yeah,
because I do think there are some.
Like there are good parts of Banana Mania. Most of it is presentation wise, right? That we always discuss like the graphics are better. But like I like the special modes. Some of it's kind of masochistic. Like the original stage mode is more so just a showcase of how bad the controls are, more than it is like a cool mode. But whatever, I appreciate its inclusion either way. But like stuff like Dark Banana mode and Golden Banana mode, I don't really like Golden Banana mode, but whatever. But like those two modes. Like I could tell the developers actually wanted to make those modes, which is why they're good. Like the problem, of course, is that because the whole game feels kind of rushed, those modes feel rushed. Like there's reverse mode,
and they are rushed.
Like Dark Banana mode is just like it's literally just masochistic like mode. It's like, oh, here's a bunch of bananas.
And they're all only 10 levels too, which is kind of lame.
That does affect reverse mode the most because I think reverse mode had arguably the most potential out of all of them. And there are a few levels in reverse mode that are really cool, right? But then the rest of them are just like, it's Clover from Monkey Ball 1, and it plays exactly the same as Clover from Monkey Ball 1. Then you have like...
But you go the opposite way.
The one from Deluxe, was it like Waver or something? The one in like Beginner Extra, that's just like, it's the same stage because you play it in reverse, it's the exact same stage.
Yeah, when there's only like 10, it's just like wasted slots at that point.
Like, I like Free Throw, I like how it's kind of a meme one, but it's like... Yeah. It would be cool if it wasn't one of 10 stages you have options to,
Yeah, that's where the rush nature, I think, definitely rears its ugly head,
I do like.
I like the side modes, but at the same time, it's also like it doesn't save the game for me because it's like at the end of the day, they're just kind of like throwaway side modes. Like it's cool that they're there, but like it's not a selling point. Like no one's like, Oh yeah, I gotta pick up Banana Mania so I can play fucking the 10 reverse levels. Like,
Yep.
fuck yeah, dude. No.
At
I barely
least
even touched them, to be honest.
see, I want to give credit to Golden Banana mode because it gives you like Golden Eye as a character, which I think is an inherently cool reward.
Yeah, no, for sure.
You know, you
I
could have just
actually didn't
gotten
even
it
know that,
as
so.
DLC, but whatever. Let's ignore that. That's for the
Oh
digital deluxe
god, yeah,
version.
we'll get into that.
But like the problem with Golden Banana mode is that it's a way to utilize all the maze stages in the game into like a different way, which is cool in concept. The problem is I don't like the maze stages either way. Like dungeon is better.
Yeah.
I think the use of dungeon is cool, but when you get to like chaos, like it has the same issue as the original chaos, which is you need to know the exact same layout in order to go down, otherwise you fail. So it's like it's fine.
Is that the Monkey Ball 2 story mode level, or is that deluxe?
Chaos is the one from deluxe. That's
Oh,
like
okay,
the
so I
giant
have no idea
like
what you're talking
multi-level
about.
maze is like impossible. Yeah, that one. And when it's not the maze stages, it's something like ridiculously difficult, like strata, where
Oh god,
would be
Strata.
cool. It would be a cool level. The problem is you're doing strata on the hardest path with Banana Mania controls, and it's like, well,
It's
great.
like, fuck me.
It's probably the hardest stage in the entire game. Like at first I thought it was Twin Basin Dark Banner mode, but I feel like there's more of like an obvious like way to do it. It's just a matter of like trial and error. But with Strata, it's like you're not fighting against the game. You're fighting against the controls in Strata, which is the worst part because
That's
that's
kind of how I feel with like, quite a few levels, to be honest. Like I feel like the game itself is like easier. Like kind of babyfied a lot of things. Obviously,
Yeah,
taking
which
lives
we'll-
out will do that, but
we'll get to that.
it's all it's still hard just because the controls are less good. So you have to like
Yeah,
I don't know. You have to like compensate. So like it's probably as hard as the originals, but not for the good reasons. Like it's
Yeah.
like when I'm playing the originals, it's like it can be frustrating. But when I'm playing Banana Mania and like I'm stuck on like a fucking level, I just want to throw my Switch. I'm like, fuck
Yeah.
this shit. This is so
It
stupid.
very much feels like the game's fault in Banana Mania when something goes
Mhm.
wrong. Like in the originals,
it
it's
is,
like
most of the time.
it's usually your fault in the originals.
Yeah, like at most, it's like you're not used to the camera system yet, so it's like kind of
Yeah.
like the janky camera controls.
Or
but
it's offer pod and it's just a bad stage, but
Yeah,
Monkey Ball
yeah.
2 isn't a perfect game, so
yeah, they're not perfect. There's
Yeah.
even Monkey Ball 1 has its fair share of kind of bullshit levels, but
yeah.
Banana Mania, fuck me, dude. It's bad sometimes
Yeah.
those levels.
What,
But what were we segueing towards? We were about to
just-
start. Oh, we were okay. We were on the side modes. Party games though.
oh yeah, we should just get into that now.
Fuck.
It-
So I haven't played all of them. I have played the main ones.
The party games are conflicting because there are some that are better, and by some I mean Monkey Race and Monkey Boat are better. I think they're a genuinely
Yeah.
a better mode, and most of the other ones are fine. They're at least on par from the originals. The problem is the most important ones are the ones
Are the ones they fucked up.
are the ones that are like, what? Like okay, listen, Monkey Baseball being bad, that sucks, right? You can move on in your life, right? But Monkey Target,
Yeah.
the fact that they ruined the Monkey Target, the one that everybody knows, the most popular one, the fact that they put in no extra attention to that one,
Oh, it's so bad,
Yeah,
dude. You can't even like get to some of those goals. It feels like.
the fact that Monkey Boat was more of a priority than Monkey Target, though, is ridiculous.
What the fuck?
I don't know. I'll let you talk about Target because you probably care more than I do because I'm not really a party game person. But like,
I really don't care that much.
Oh.
I mean, I haven't played it like a whole lot just because it sucks to play. Like, it's like I don't know. And the original was like a very clear glide. You know what I mean?
everybody's first experience with Monkey Target and Banana Mania is going like, let's play Monkey Target. Then they just die before they even get remotely close to Target, and they're like, oh, you know,
So I guess what like you're supposed to do, and I didn't know this until you sent that Reddit post like a few days
Supposed
ago.
to.
But I guess you're supposed to just like barely like touch like the control stick, and like I had some success doing that.
it's
when I
not
got to
as
the
much
third...
as supposed to. It's more of a that was technically a fix for Banana Bliss HD's Monkey Target mode being
yeah.
required to beat this one because they didn't even like test it. I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think they did either because it's fucking sucks,
I'm
dude.
pretty
It's
sure-
like
Yeah, it's so bad. Like you literally need to slightly hold back on a joystick just enough to like get a slight higher acceleration, and then you can
yeah.
make it to the target. Wow.
sometimes because I was doing that on the third round or whatever, where I was like I forget what the third target even fucking is, but I still didn't make it, and I was doing it exactly the way I did in the first two rounds. And I was like,
Yeah.
fuck this shit. Like, and like I can segue into the fact that there's no fucking multiplayer in this game. So like, that inherently ruins the appeal of all of the party games.
What do you mean?
Because you can only play with computers.
There's multiplayer in some of the party games. Like you can do bowling.
There really?
You can do bowling multiplayer and Monkey Fight multiplayer.
Oh fuck yeah! Ooh.
I know you're very excited to play some monkey bowling.
I am no Monkey Fight at least like. Well, okay, I'm gonna say this straight up. They fucked that one up too, and that's like the second most important one. But
Yep.
the fact that it has multiplayer, I guess I can give that credit now.
Is that even worth giving credit? Like
No.
like Monkey Ball 1 had a lot of multiplayer modes. It was original multiplayer mode in the main game. Then it was competition mode, which is basically like IL competition, which was cool. Although it really only appealed to like speedrunners. I don't think many people actually played that one. But and then every single party game was like 4-player. It was cool.
Yeah. And then like in this game, none of the main modes have it, which I guess like
literally none. They literally had it on the website at one point. We're like, oh, compete against Dr. Baboon in local multiplayer, and they removed it from the website because I think it got cut like last second. And then and also there's like the party games, which you can only play as like the original characters. You can't use any unlocked characters in there. Which Adventure even let you do
bullshit.
that. Even Adventure let you use the party game characters.
Fucking Adventure, dude. Their models are already there. I don't fucking know, dude. I don't know, but you can't even switch to the original skins, which is like, we'll get to that. Well, you know what? We'll get to that in a second.
I can go on a whole hour-long rant about the original skins.
We will get into a tangent on that, but fuck. Well, I was gonna say, just to cover Monkey Fight real quick.
Yes. Because
I do care about that minigame. That's actually my favorite. I prefer that over Target, and they fucked it, dude. It's like I played it and I went back to the original. I watched a YouTube video of the original just to like make sure I wasn't crazy. So the big thing is there is no camera movement now.
Oh.
If you look at the original, like it's kind of like this. It's like moving around, like as like things are happening.
The players, yeah.
Yeah, in Banana Mania, it's completely still. It's just fixed.
Even Monkey Ball Jr. did that.
Yeah, Monkey Ball fucking Jr. did that, dude. And it's like it's not the end of the world, but it takes away like the energy of Monkey Fight because it's just like that. Movement and that bounce is just gone. It's just still and also like the characters are also just way smaller. Like in the original you can see them. In Banana Mania there's like little fucking ball. You can just see the balls basically. I don't think you can really see the characters. And this is the big thing, like that thing where you charge up your glove and it grows. In the original it's so fucking cool because it's so smooth. It gets huge and there's like all these like energy like beams flying around it. In Banana Mania it's like 5 frames go like burp, 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 and there's no effects, nothing. You can barely even tell it's like growing. It's like just all of the pizzazz is gone. And that's kind of how I feel like the game in general. Like I mentioned this to you, like it just feels like they sucked all the pizzazz out. Like the sound effects in the game are just so rubbery and bouncy.
The rolling noise is ungodly.
The rolling fucking noise.
How did Touch and Roll have a better rolling noise? Like that one's fine.
I don't know.
It's like it sounds like they downloaded like a pirated copy of the Touch and Roll rolling noise and used it like and compressed it and then like put it back in the game and then didn't sound mix it in either. So it's just like loud. It's super loud and it's like super like crunchy and big crunch. It doesn't even like line up correctly with the actual rolling noise. It's so bad.
The original games had like this really
like warbling sound. It was very like
not even just with that, but just with all of the sound effects. It was all just super like I guess kinetic is the only word I can use to describe it. Like you hit the ground, it's like
like it sounds like you hit the ground.
You there's like a bonk to it. You hit shit, it bonks. The rolling sound is like really like energetic.
It also sounds natural.
Banana Mania,
it's again, Banana Mania sounds extremely artificial and like trash.
It's so plasticky. I don't know.
It's not even
like
plasticky.
Bouncy.
The original sounds plasticky. It just sounds like they just stole some sound effect off of freesoundeffects.org and slapped it to the game last minute.
Pretty much, yeah.
It doesn't fit at all. They could have
like the banana sound effects. Like it's just
that's
just
the one
satisfying to collect the bananas.
Yeah, that's just the one from Step and Roll I keep using. That's what that is.
I don't like it though. So.
Yeah.
I think Banana Blitz introduced that, didn't it?
Probably. I wouldn't doubt it.
I'm pretty sure it did, because ever since then they've had this. It's just way less satisfying. I don't know. That's just how I feel about all of the sound design in the game. Like the music's fine, but like, sound effects fucked it up. But to get back to party games, they fucked up all the good ones. They fixed a few of the ones no one cares about.
They fixed Boat.
The rest are like whatever. Yeah, they fixed Boat. So all fucking 2 Monkey Boat fans, I guess. You get your field day, but I kind of like Monkey Boat in the original too. But
It's
It's
true.
just like, yeah, I don't care enough to play it in Banana Mania. I played it like a few times when the game first came out.
Yeah.
I don't know. But it's just sad. No multiplayer, no and we can I'll segue us into the rant we all want to get into here.
Is it the?
You can't use the original skins in the party mode minigames. Also, you can't use the original skins. You can't customize them, which is fucking stupid because they cost $5.
What?
You pay for them.
I-
You
I-
pay for the fucking skins.
You know what? As bad as that is, and that is very bad. It's obvious just nostalgia bait, like every company does. But the thing that annoys me is that the original skins look like trash. They look
Shit,
like
they look fucking
garbage.
awful.
Okay, like I've had like arguments with Jeff about this before. Like they look like the game was like gonna ship like next week, right? And they turned to
Yeah.
like some intern next to them and went like, "We gotta add those," and so they just like scrambled their computer and just made them in like a day. Like I like that they made some for Yan Yan and Doctor. I think those actually look better than the other ones because they actually put my effort into it. But like the ones for the original characters, they look like they took like a ball of clay, then they like vaguely modeled the character and scanned it in the game.
They
Like,
look worse than the models from 20 years before.
like if you look at the model from Monkey Ball 2 for II, it looks good. It still looks good. It looks really
They could have
good.
just ripped it, and it would have looked 1,000 times
if
fucking
they
better.
ripped it, I literally would have just used that. I was like, okay, but they didn't do that. Like, I don't know what I felt the need to remodel it because it doesn't even look good. It looks blatantly
awful.
unfinished, and then on top of that, you have to pay $5 for it.
Yeah, I was about to say like, if it was free, I would
free,
still complain.
It'd be bad.
But it'd
be bad, but it would be something, right? It's like, okay, fine. What if you unlocked it for beating Monkey Ball 1 challenge mode or something? Like a marathon mode.
Then you'd have to actually reward the players for
That's
beating the
not
game
allowed.
and not just
Yeah, I
fucking
agree.
sending them off. So
Like the original soundtrack,
Yeah.
whatever. Like maybe there's some licensing issue. That's like whatever, you know.
no,
fine.
there's not licensing issues. It's
Oh,
fucking made by Sega,
I'm
dude.
trying to be nice, okay? But
they have it. They just sold it separately.
yeah, it does obvious. Just like we can make more money off the plays if we sell them back the soundtrack. So we're gonna
Yeah,
do
and
anything.
it's so sad because like like the Spyro the Dragon remakes, they redid their soundtrack to it. I'm not huge on the remade soundtrack, but you can switch the original mid level just whenever you want.
Yeah.
Have it like that for the entire game, and it's free in the game. It's not even like a free download. It's just part of the fucking game. Like you just put in the disc.
That's insane.
Mid level, you're like, I want to switch to the original version of the soundtrack. Pause, sound options, original soundtrack. You can just play
Yeah.
the rest of the fucking game like that.
Yeah.
Why is it $5 fucking Sega?
It's because they need
Ugh.
money. That's all it is.
It's because they need fucking money, but it's so stupid.
I know it makes me
So
sad
shitty.
because I don't want to touch these, but it makes me sad because like the game has like this nice like reversible cover that looks really nice. It's like the top half is like the banana blitz and the bottom half is like the original design. But, like that was cute, but I don't get why like it feels like the developers went out of their way to like. I can go into this rant after we talk about the accessibility options. Actually, that makes more sense there. But speaking of the original games, we should talk about the new. We should go back into the live system and talking about the fun thing where you die in a level 5 times. It shows a giant text box of, "Do you want to switch on the
Dude.
easy mode?" And
That shit pisses me off. And like, this goes back to the UI problems too, because like I mentioned this in Discord chat quite a few times. You already know what I'm gonna say.
Yep.
The highlight color, man. What the fuck? I know Cardano doesn't have like an issue with it for some reason, but like, it's not bad in like the big menus where it's like, you know, if you got like a level list, you know, it's like all yellow and the one that's red is selected. Whatever. Whenever there's a yes or no prompt, one that's highlighted is red, and that is completely opposite to how color theory works. Like,
I don't mind it only because it defaults to no, so you can just mash it.
yeah, and I know that too. But like the first couple of times, I kept like, I was like, oh, why is it defaulted yes? I want no, and then like you turn on helper mode, and you're just like, fuck me. Oh, okay, whatever.
Yeah, because it's like a deep red, so it looks like, oh, that's like the no option. So I'm gonna go to the one that's already, you know, the same color as the rest of you.
Yeah,
I don't
it's just
know.
frustrating because like in the originals, like you die a couple times and you get a game over, and you're like, all right, whatever.
It's also very
This
obvious
game,
in the original game what you're selecting on the menu. There's no issue at all. You don't have to
yeah,
think about
no
it
fucking
whatsoever.
issues. In this game, it's like, you know, you die a couple times, and instead of like getting a game over, the game just tells you, hey, you're ass at this. Do you want us to make it easy for you?
you want to turn on the
And it's
easy
just more
baby stupid
frustrating.
Goo Goo Gaga mode real quick? It's like, no. And the thing about it is, that,
Yeah.
I don't even mind there being an accessibility mode. I think Monkey Ball is a very hard series. I think it's fine because the way they did it was fine. You know, you have more time on the timer. Then they give you like a slowdown feature. Like, you know, that's fine, right? Whatever. And like you can't do the extra stages. Like that's the problem is they took all of that and then they said like, okay, this is a fair side move for people who want it. Then they decide, we could have like 5 more people buy the game if we just make it the default instead. And so like so they said, okay, so Monkey Ball is too hard. Let's just remove all of the lives from the game and then add a stupid text box that you cannot disable in the menu every single time you die 5 times. And then let's remove I don't know, extra stages. Let's remove just remove everything that made Monkey Ball 1, and then just said like, there we go. Now it's easy. So now everybody can buy Monkey Ball and enjoy it, guys. It's like, no.
But then you take out the enjoyability.
The problem
is because Monkey Ball 1, like the purpose of it was never to just sit down and just beat it in like an hour. You know, it's the whole point of the game is that it's very short. I don't want to say there's not a lot of content, but in the grand scheme of things, there's not. It's meant to be replayed for decades as you continue getting better and you continue getting further and increasing your skills, and you're able to get higher scores. You're able to get to master mode, etc.
Yeah.
When you just give all of that away for free, it's like, why am I playing it? You know what I mean?
The problem I have is even like the fact that they're trying to appeal to a wider audience. The problem I have is that the way they're doing it is like ruining the experience for everybody. Guess the problem, like for example, Orlo was due to Monkey Ball, right? Orlo tried out the game. And then even he came out with the conclusion of like, what's the point? Like there are new players that play Monkey Ball for the first time and don't understand it. Like, it's fine to want everybody to play Monkey Ball. The problem is that's why, it's fair to just like, if the accessibility mode was just like in an option, like, oh, here's easy mode, here's the option that makes it so the game doesn't have lives. Like, that would have been fine. And then like even if you could like purchase no lives like in Monkey Ball 2, that would have been fine too. But they did none of that. They went out of their way.
It's just forced down your throat.
They went out of their way to make that experience the default for no reason. It's not like there's a purpose to it. It's literally just
not even the default, just the only option. You can't add lives back in. You can't disable the helper feature. You can't add in a score system. You can't change it so that the extra stages and master stages are like skill based instead of just given to you.
Like. The problem is, it's not like it's Mario Odyssey or something where it's like the lives don't even matter. The thing about lives are a core part of the Monkey Ball experience. It's like Mario. I was thinking about it a lot. I think Monkey Ball 1 is kind of designed a lot like Mario 1 in some way. It's like you have like these.
Well, they're both arcade.
Yeah, they're both arcade experiences. With that's what the point of like the warp goes are, is that you're supposed to be able to play it repeatedly to get good at it, in order to see the extra stages as a reward for your effort.
Yeah.
But the problem is when you remove the lives, what's the purpose to replay the mode?
You beat it, and then you never want. There's no reason to ever play it again.
Yeah, it's
for
like
the rest of your life.
It's like, you're not playing it because it's fun, because the controls are weird and scuffed. So it's like you're not playing it for that reason.
Yeah.
Either. I guess there's the leaderboards, but then that's a completely separate mode, though. So I don't get why. Like, that's a completely separate mode. So it's like
the leaderboard mode is the only bit of replayability this game has, and like the thing is like when it first came out, it was fun, but now the leaderboards are filled with like speedrunners who are like fucking god tier of the game. So like, unless you're like the best Banana Mania player in the world, there's no reason to even do the leaderboard
and even then,
things anymore.
Even then, I was thinking about it. I'm like, even if they're trying to build the game for speedrunners, the problem is speedrunners are just gonna play the old games because they're better.
Yeah, no,
so
they're
it's
better
like,
games. I'm not even a speedrunner. I'm only gonna play the fucking old games.
Like,
if it wasn't for this video, I wouldn't have even played Banana Mania ever again, probably.
Banana Mania, I feel like, is a game that's trying to be made for everybody, and in turn just ends up being for really nobody. Like, it's a good, in my opinion, the only thing I can really defend it with is that I think it's a good first Monkey Ball experience, as far as like the baseline of like what, even that's debatable.
I'd say 2 is probably the best. It's a much better like experience.
Let's just say it's the most accessible Monkey Ball experience. That's like okay in the modern times.
Okay, fine.
But like, even then, that's like a lot of asterisks to get to that point. But I don't know.
I was about to say, I feel like in general, just 2 is the best because story mode has unlimited lives already, and an actual story that's like fun. Like I really like the story in Monkey Ball 2. Like as a kid, I genuinely did want to see what was gonna happen next.
I used to only exclusively play story mode for a long time.
Dude, same.
Because it's a good
when
mode.
I was a kid, like challenge mode, like was something I played like maybe like once or twice a year just out of curiosity. But in my head, it was always like, oh, this is the big kid mode, Like when I'm a big kid, I'll play it. Not when I'm like 6 or 7 or whatever. I'm just gonna stick to story mode.
And the thing about Banana Mania, right, is that like we have all these complaints, but when the game came out, we were like, okay, they're gonna update the game to fix the issues of the game, because like I feel like in theory this game still could have been somewhat saved even after release.
Could have, if they added in like multiplayer and maybe like
they could have like patched in like a separate like lives mode. They could have fixed the mini games, or they could have made it like at least a better experience. But the problem is They did nothing. They did nothing.
They just dropped it. They just dropped the game on our laps and abandoned it.
Which is presumably because the people in charge basically left immediately after the game was done. So
yeah,
it was very funny because I remember when there was there's been activity on the Monkey Ball Steam page. Everybody was popping off. I was like, oh my god, they finally gonna do it, and it dropped, and it literally did not. There was no changes whatsoever.
Yeah, it was like a 0.0001
0.01
or some shit.
It's like, oh, why? Why?
So sad, dude. Yeah, this game was just completely abandoned.
Because
I don't know, the whole thing just I feel kind of. I'm almost jaded about it. The whole thing just has a very cynical development cycle. Monkey Ball 1 and 2 was a creative vision by I don't know what his name is. Nagoshi, right?
Yeah, Nagoshi.
Yeah, him and his crew or whatever. It was they had to craft something that didn't have already a backlog of success. It wasn't a franchise yet. It was just we have to make these really good games, and if they're not really good, people aren't going to care. But Mania just feels, the whole vibe of it to me is I just feel a bunch of people at Sega office and they're all right, you're gonna do a Monkey Ball game.
You're doing a 20th anniversary.
You're underpaid. You're underpaid. Yeah. You got 3 months. You're having $100 in a piece of duct tape.
Yeah.
You're gonna be working 60-hour weeks for the next 3 months. Have fun.
I don't know. It just kind of makes me sad because I feel like it could have been way better if there was more than 5 people assigned to this project.
Yeah, the whole thing. I feel like it's just very low budget and very small. I don't know.
You can just feel
it. You can feel it.
It's really telling that 1, they removed any reference to a music vision whatsoever for no reason, and then 2, the fact that this is the 20-year game. This is the game to celebrate Monkey Ball's 20-year anniversary, and it feels just as half-baked and just as rushed as every game that's come out since 2. Is kind of.
Yup.
It's wow, you know what? That's almost kind of poetic. I can't even get it. I can't even get that mad anymore. You're just you know what? That does fit the current state of Monkey Ball. You know what? That
does. Yeah. It's we could have had this. Could have been a very special moment. I think.
Yeah.
To get Monkey Ball back on track. I really think about what should have happened. It should have been a genuine remake of Monkey Ball 1 and 2. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It should have been the original art style. It should have, original. I don't even care if they remade the soundtrack, but they should have at least remade it in a style more true to the original Monkey Ball. Kind of a sort of Y2K house sound. They should have had lives. They should have had the structure, challenge mode, story mode. They should have had a real story mode. I don't know. They could have went all out on this and made a real love letter to Monkey Ball 1 and 2 and just faithfully recreated it for modern consoles like Crash Bandicoot and Spyro had.
Yeah.
No, we just got the banana. They just brought Monkey Ball down, classic Monkey Ball down to Banana Mania's or Banana Blitz's level, and it's just fuck.
It's kind of sad.
There's no hope.
It's kind of sad. It's okay, we need to remake 1 and 2. Let's hand it to the absolute worst qualified team to do
It's
it.
do we have any interns lying around? Yeah, okay, they'll handle it.
I don't know. I really want to Banana Mania, but I feel the longer it's been, the more because really when I play a game, right, I pick it up, I play it, I'm it's not that bad. It's whatever.
Again, it's one and 2.
It's fine. It's an okay experience. The problem is I can't help but remember the Monkey Ball's insane history since 2 and everything that's happened since, and the fact that we went 7 years and they gave us Banana Blitz again. It's I can't forget all that.
Banana Blitz, yeah. I can't forget all that either.
I can't forget about everything that Monkey Ball represents and what it's been since 2 and how Sega has treated since 2. That all we got was an okay remake, I guess. Even it's not a good remake, but it's an okay.
It's
whatever.
not a good. It's an okay game.
It's an okay game. It's a bad remake. So it's just I don't know.
It's a horrible remake.
Even if on its own.
To me, to me, it's when it comes to remakes, especially remakes of good games, you have to judge it on comparing it to the source material, because of course, I've said this several times. Of course, Banana Mania is a good game. It's built
it's
around
fine.
2 amazing games. It's not going to be bad, but it's when you take every single aspect and make it worse, I can't give you credit at all. You
have to be that's not good enough. This is not good enough. So what
especially you said, this is coming off of a long history
of neglect,
mediocrity, and bad
of child neglect, undocumented child neglect.
It's so bad. It's just
for a series.
Yeah, I just don't have any hope for the future right now. I mean, maybe
it's possible they can make a good game next. Hopefully they just
Oh,
throw all the Banana Blitz stuff in the trash and start from anew, and maybe it's like an okay game, you know. But as it stands, they don't give us any reason to have any hope, though, is all I'm gonna say.
There's no reason, and that's like the thing too is like, if I don't know, like the fact that like this was the opportunity to get things back on track, and it's just more like Banana Mania stuff. Or, sorry,
Banana Blitz.
So many fucking banana games. I hate it. They need to get better at titling these. But anyway, the fact that it's more Banana Blitz bullshit, like I can't imagine the next game is gonna be like, all right, now we're going back to the original art style and character designs and like the whole arcadey roots of the series, like that. No, they're just gonna keep doing more Banana Blitz bullshit. Like, the next game's just gonna be more of that.
The only thing I can say is that the Monkey Ball series has a very similar history to like Paper Mario, where it's like, you know, there are a lot of old games. There are a lot of old games that are very cherished, and then they made like one game where it's like, oh, this is the one we needed to beat, and like Monkey Ball, because what happened was they made Banana Blitz, it sold very well because it was a Wii launch title, so they're like, oh, this is what Monkey Ball should be, and just like they just kept doing that over and over and over, and they kept getting diminishing returns. But like no one in charge seemed to understand that Banana Blitz was the problem. There's like, oh, yeah, Banana Blitz was the one that did well, so they just kept doing it over and over and over and over, and then they made splits.
I don't get how that happened, because it's like,
yeah,
I've never met anyone or seen anyone. It's very rare that I've ever seen the opinion of somebody who prefers the Banana Blitz like style or that version of the series, you know, like unless you just don't give a fuck about the originals. Like I'm sure there's people who like grew up with the Banana Blitz and that's just all they care about and they have not played 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Whatever. But if you've played the originals, like no one prefers the way the series has been handled since 2006, and it's just weird that like Sega is so adamant about it. Like I don't know. It's weird. I don't get the thought process. Like I don't think it's making them more money.
Like much like Paper Mario, the defense is always, it's not that bad. It's like, that's not really a good defense,
maybe I want more than not that bad.
I don't know. Maybe like Paper Mario, they'll announce the next game. It'll be a true return to form out of nowhere. But I don't know. I kind of the problem with
probably not.
Monkey Ball is a very conflicting series. I feel like it's always been like, it's always just been baffling to anyone that's paying attention. You know?
Yeah,
it's literally just they made one bad game that did well and they just chased that high forever and they never reached it
forever. Like it's so weird because like with other series that like went off the fucking rails, you know, they had a return to form at some point. Like, you know, Crash Bandicoot and Spyro, I think are two really good examples again, because it's like, I mean, you know, like those franchises went to fucking hell in the late 2000s.
The late 2000s killed so many series. Like Bomberman died, Spyro died. Like every single series is like, we need to become edgy, and then like they all just died at the exact same time.
All just died, yeah.
For no reason.
But then they've all like had like good return to forms. Like, you know, in some cases it's because of like a remake, which is what Banana Mania, you know, it should have had a good remake that would have been a great return to form, but I digress. Monkey Ball's just never had that return to form. Like, ideally, when it went away for 10 years, like what Crash Bandicoot, what happened to that series, it was just dead, and then it came back, and they're like, all right, we're just going to restart. We're just going to remake the original trilogy. We'll make a new game that just follows that up, and we're just going to pretend all the other shit didn't happen. I don't know if Monkey Ball's ever going to have that point, because it just,
well,
they
it
just
did.
keep
The
chasing.
problem was, when they did it, it was Banana Blitz HD, so it's like you just start off in the worst possible spot again.
That's what I mean. Like, yeah, like they didn't have a return to form. They just said, all right, we're gonna take the problem and just start from the problem.
Banana Blitz did well, and then we made a bunch of games that were exactly like Banana Blitz and they all failed. Let's just do Banana Blitz again and see what happens. I'm like, no!
Let's just fuck around.
Why did you do Banana Blitz again?
That might be the most baffling choice.
They'll never learn. They'll never learn their lesson.
Then they make the Banana Blitz version of 1 and 2. See, I just don't have hope. I don't know. It just makes me really sad. And it's just, I think the thing that's the most depressing about all of this, and I've said this before too, but it's just the idea that we're never going to see the original 1 and 2 again.
The only hope we
have...
have...
Unless it's like... Yeah, go on. You're probably going to say what I'm about to say.
The only hope we have is if somehow Yakuza adds like the arcade Monkey Ball 1 and Wonder games, but I'm surprised they haven't done yet, to be honest. I think they should.
Yeah.
That's literally the only hope.
Yeah, because Last of Us did that with Crash Bandicoot. Like, they put like fucking...
they like one level of Crash Bandicoot in there.
And it's like mandatory. That's kind of funny, but... Yeah, it's just like, unless there's like the Switch 2 has like GameCube Online and they put Monkey Ball 1 and 2 on there, but like I feel like Sega would be like, oh, it's gonna cut into Banana Mania sales, so don't do that. You know,
I'm sorry. You say?
Oh, go on. I don't even know what I was gonna say.
Because the only like insane conspiracy theory I can think of is maybe they're making the next Monkey game as like a Switch 2 launch title or something. The match like the original.
No.
That's so ridiculous. But it's the only hope.
Not fucking happening.
That's like the only thing I can think of that might be like, I don't know. That's the only chance I have, I guess.
Monkey Ball is probably just dead right
We'll
now. I mean,
see.
there might be another game at
Well, I
some
mean,
point, but I doubt it's a Switch 2 launch title.
To be fair,
I doubt it's in development, to be honest.
I mean, the main appeal of Monkey Ball has always been the fact that it's a low budget series. So I mean, I think it could survive even this. To be honest, I
mean, I don't think it'll ever die.
There's no reason to stop making them if they keep selling. Like Banana Mania reportedly sold at least pretty good compared to what.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the thing is like with Sega, they don't make a lot of games, so
Sega has its own issues right now that need to be worked out.
Yeah, like that's more so like I don't know. I do think we will see another Monkey Ball game. I don't
I don't
know if there's gonna be. There might be like another 10-year hiatus first. I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Who knows?
They'll make Banana Blitz HD 4K or whatever. That'll be next game.
Banana Blitz 4K. Can't wait.
I hope
I'm back. Let's pick fucking Banana Mania again. I don't know.
Banana
I don't know,
Mania
dude.
HD.
It's just.
It's like no, please don't.
Oh. Did we miss anything? I think we've covered most of our grievances.
I can say I prefer playing Banana Blitz HD over Banana Mania because that game actually still is technically a normal Monkey Ball game in terms of like structure.
Yeah, like it actually has like a point to like progressing through it.
There's lives, there's like the champion medals, you do nothing now, but whatever.
What world are we living in where Banana Blitz has lives and fucking the remake of 1 and 2 don't? It's so scuffed.
Yeah. BBHG is like barely even a good remake, honestly. Almost everything about it is technically worse. Just the fact that you can control it makes it better automatically.
Right.
I don't know.
Well, that's the end of that. I don't know how to end something like this, so fuck all of you, I guess.